The new EQ from Plugin Alliance, based on a legendary piece of hardware, but how does it actually sound? Hi, welcome to the Crates Motel. My name's Conan. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Plugin Alliance's new plugin, the Amek 250. Now, this video is not going to be about comparing it to the original hardware. I don't have the original hardware to compare it to. I've never used the original hardware. I think I was probably in the same city once as the original hardware, but that's about as close as I've got. So it's not going to be about comparisons. I'm not going to be running it through Plugin Doctor. There's not really going to be much science involved. It's literally just going to be about how it sounds. So let's jump in. So here we are in Studio One. Here's the Amek 250. I've got it set to 125, but you can change the scale. Looks amazing. What I love about it is it's simple. As a mastering engineer and as a mixing engineer, I like EQs that don't have too much going on. I can use my ears. I'm not distracted by anything visual. I do like graphs on EQs. I use the Fab filter a lot. Obviously, that's got really, really good GUI. But especially in mastering, I do like to have a simple EQ, Sontec style, you know, that kind of thing where I don't have any distractions. This looks amazing. I really, really like the look of it. We have low pass, high pass filters, 5 bands. The low and the highs can be made into shelves, then 3. They can also be made into bells as well. You can change the Q here. Hold control, click, and it centers back to 0. We have the auto listen function, which is on a lot of Plugin Alliance plugins now, which is really, really useful, especially for mastering. Along the bottom, we have the little extras that Plugin Alliance add in now. The TMT, where we can have random channel, we can pick a channel, we can have it in digital mode, in and out gains, mono maker, which you can switch on and off, stereo width, mid-side, parameter link, and the THD. As you can see, the Q, like I said, on the low and the high can be made into a shelf, but you can also make it into a narrow or broad bell filter, and the same with these as well. You have various frequencies which you can choose from. I really like the fact that the high and the high shelf, you have the same frequencies, because then I can set this to a shelf and I can use this still to boost anything up high using the bell filter. So I could do something really narrow maybe if I wanted something up high. Again, control, click, back to 0. So that's a quick rundown of the EQ. As I said, it's very, very simple. Oh, just quickly, this gain scale here is really useful. You can change the EQ throughout, boosting, attenuating, and then with this, it will adjust. It's like a master, I guess, for all of the EQs together. So say you've got 1 decibel, minus 1 decibel, 2, 3, 4, etc. When you move this, it will change all of these together, which is really, really useful. I also like the fact that if you click on the individual, it gives you a readout, so you know where you are if you don't want to do it so visually. So let's get into how it sounds. I'm going to try it out on several different sources, a couple of masters obviously, and maybe some vocals, guitar, some drum buses, that kind of thing. Now, to look at it and the way people talk about it, you kind of think of it as being a mastering EQ, or a bus EQ, or master bus EQ, that kind of thing for mixing engineers. But I've been using it the last week on tons of different sources. It's really nice on vocals. It's great on bass, and it's good on individual drum sounds as well. So I'm going to show that and just show you how it sounds. I'm kind of giving it away that I already like it, but you know, I'm not going to deny it. It's a really, really nice EQ. But we're going to start off with it on a couple of masters because that's what I tend to use it for. Now, when I'm mastering, I would generally have these set to 6 dB just so that I can make smaller adjustments. So let's have a listen. This is a track from Lip, Sensory Overload. It's a track that I mastered. You're probably familiar with it if you watch my channel. Great track, EDM kind of style, and it's a good track to demonstrate EQs on, to, you know, show what it can do subtly on mastering. So I'm just going to switch the auto listen on so that when I adjust these, I can hear the frequencies which I'm adjusting. It's kind of something I've got used to using with Plugin Alliance now, and I kind of wish that all plugins had it, to be honest. It's really useful, and what's really great about it is if you don't like it, just switch it off. So there you go. So let's just do a kind of classic mastering kind of EQ, general broadband EQ. There's an area around about 800 I just want to reduce just a little bit. Not to just take that back a little bit. Now there's no gain match on this, so I'm just going to bring the gain down a little bit just so that we're not fooled by louder is better. Yeah, that sounds about right. Maybe just push that up a little bit further. And let's just give it a little bit of width. And we'll take the mono maker up to about 80. Now they're very subtle moves that I've made there, but what I can immediately hear by just these very subtle moves is it immediately jumps out at me, and it's got this really nice warmth to it, which I kind of discovered this week by using it. It just adds a kind of almost like a Neve style sort of posh sheen over the top of things. It makes it feel like it's kind of wrapped up in something. It sounds really stupid, but that's what it does. That's what it does for me. And what I've found as well is it's really nice at attenuating certain areas, especially in mastering. It's really good for cleaning up mud. It's really good for cleaning up if you've got a master with quite harsh vocals, kind of like quite a broad, like around about 1500, and it just warms things up. So hopefully you can hear just with this subtle. I'm going to push the bass and the 5K just a little bit as well, just a bit further than I normally would. Let's just take the stereo width off so we're not fooled by it being opened up too much. Really subtle, really nice. So let's just try it out on another master. This is a track called Diva by Darley. Now, this what I want to use, the reason why I've pulled up this master, or pre-master rather, is I want to show how far you can push the bass and it still sound really, really nice. Just because of the way this track was, the client wanted me to bring up the low end a little bit, and I could have done with this EQ at the time actually, because what it does, it has this really, it just sounds really rounded and creamy and warm and doesn't sound too oomphy, and it just keeps it really, really clean, which is nice. It's difficult to get an EQ in mastering where you can really push the bottom end and not start sounding muddy or not start sounding a bit too sort of fluffy and oomphy. So I wish I had this EQ at the time. So I'm going to push it quite far, and I want you to hear how it pushes the bottom end, but still sounds really clean and really nice. See, I would never in mastering push 4 dB. Listen to that. Just let me pull back the gain a little bit so we're not fooled. Listen to how the bass still sounds really, really good. So we've got 6 dB on there now. Really, really nice. Because you have control over being able to push things perhaps a little bit further than you normally would, it feels almost like you're molding the track, which I really, really like. And that's another reason why I don't like visual distraction. When you have an EQ where I mean, I almost feel like I've got hands on here. I know I'm only using a mouse, but I almost feel like I'm reaching into the screen and I can hold it, I can close my eyes and I can just like mold the track into the sound that I want. And you don't get that with EQs very often in the box. You know, it's just, there's so many distractions sometimes with the GUI and messing around. I just want a couple of knobs to twist, set up the frequency I want, and then I want to be able to mold the sound. And in mastering, that's really, really useful. I mean, this is subtle, but it just sounds so nice, so posh and so clean. So let's have a listen to it on a vocal.
Days go by too fast. I don't wanna know when you have to go. Let's just make this last. Tell me what I wanna hear. Don't tell me the end is near. How about we play pretend? We can say this'll never end. How about we play pretend? We can say this'll never end. And you can. Days go by too fast. I don't wanna know when you have to go. Let's just make this last. Tell me what I wanna hear. Don't tell me the end is near. How about we play pretend? We can say this'll never end. How about days go by too fast? Days go by too fast.
So what I've done there is I've just cleaned things up a little bit. There's a little bit of noise off the microphone, kind of a little bit of rumble. So just using the high pass filter, cleaned up a little bit of mud around about 210, brought out about 15 and just put a shelf on just to give it a little bit of air. And it just sounds really nice. Again, it has that real posh sound. So let's just listen to it quickly.
Days go by too fast. 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 I don't wanna know when you have to go. Let's just make this last. Tell me what I wanna hear. Don't tell me the end is near. How about we play pretend? We can say this'll never end. How about we play pretend? We can say this'll never end.
So that's sounding really, really nice. There's no compression on that yet. Nothing else, no treatment whatsoever. Just the EQ. Again, I feel like I'm shaping or molding the sound, which I really, really like, completely just using my ears. If I had a controller that could use this so that I didn't even have to touch the mouse, it would be perfect. But I don't mind using the mouse, but I do, again, like I said earlier, I feel like I've reached onto the screen and I'm turning the knobs. I can close my eyes, I can just listen to the changes that the EQ makes. Again, pretty, you know, I'm making some pretty heavy changes here, up to sort of 3 dB, 4 dB even on the high shelf, I think I pushed it up to. And it just sounds really, really nice, really creamy and like a nice sheen over the top of it.
Days go by too fast. I don't wanna know when you have to go. Let's just make this last. Tell me what I wanna hear. Don't tell me the end is near. How about we play pretend?
And I know if I just put 1176 or something like that on it, just to bring it out, just to have that nice poppy up front kind of compression to it, with this EQ laid over the top, it would just really pop out and sound really rich and really posh and really expensive. So here I've opened it on a mono bass just to show you that there's a mono instance of it as well. Really love this about what Plugin Alliance do. So you can have a stereo version and a mono version. This is just a live kind of funk bass. So I want to boost the low end a little bit, but not too much because I want it to pop out in the mix, and just clean it up just a little bit around about 200, and then maybe just make it pop out a little bit further up. Again, very, very subtle, but just warm. So I hope you can hear this on headphones, or if you've got a good set of monitors. It's really rounded the low end out, giving it a really nice kind of creamy boost, but still kept the definition in the bass. That kind of funk slap bass, it's difficult to give it some bottom end, but still keep the definition, the clarity to it. Yeah, really nice. So here I'm going to use it on the drum bus of a 909. Classic house beat. And really, I'm going to do quite an overall broad kind of stroke EQ just to bring the bottom end up a little bit and add some clarity and just generally clean things up. But again, it's kind of more of a broad stroke thing that I'm going to be doing here. See, 80 hertz on a 909 kick. It's nothing like it. Really brings out the hats nicely and just gives it a lot more clarity. Again, it's subtle, it's not completely in your face, it's round, broad, and again, I want to say those words again, posh and expensive. That's what it sounds like to me. It just kind of, it's, yeah, this just beautiful sheen. And this is a mono signal as well. These drums are all in mono, and it just gives it weirdly a little bit of width. I've said this before about a few EQs actually, and this is one of the ones that does this. Acoustic audio are really, really good at doing this, where when you don't have the plugin activated, it kind of sounds like it's gripped in like that. It's kind of closed in almost. Not necessarily in a bad way, but that's just how it sounds to me. Then when you turn the plugin on, it blossoms and just blooms open like that. So there you have it, the Amek 250. Now I know a lot of people are going to compare it to the Amek 200 that Plugin Alliance do. I think I'm in a good position to compare them because I've used the 200 a ton over the last year, probably on 150 to 200 masters for clients. So I know how the 200 sounds and how it reacts. They're different beasts. They look very similar, but they sound very, very different. The 200 it does imprint a character and a sound on your mix, but it's quite transparent. Can I say that? Yeah, I think I can. The 250 has a lot more of a sound to it. It's earthy, organic. It has a warmth. It puts a nice sheen over your source. I don't want to say analogy because it will get people's backs up, but it sounds round. I can't hear the ones and zeros anymore. And that might just be my age or my ears, but no, I genuinely think that it's got a really nice earthy organic sound to it. It's not transparent, and if you want a transparent EQ, this is not the EQ for you, but it imprints a wonderful, posh and expensive sound to masters, to your mixes. But, you know, try it out on other sources. You know, it's great on bass, really good on synth bass, really good on kick drums. I used it on a mix for somebody this week, which was a real boom bap type hip hop track. And I used it on the kick and it just really beefy and still really organic. It was a sample, very gritty, real 12-bit kind of sound. And it just rounded off rather, and beefed up just the right areas. And so it's great for that. Snares, guitars, a clean strat. It sounded really nice on that. It's great on vocals. So don't just look at it and think it's a mastering EQ, it's a mix bus EQ. You know, it's a parametric EQ that you can use on any source, and don't be afraid to do it. I absolutely love it. I'm definitely going to be using it on masters. And, you know, it's a winner for me from Plugin Alliance, definitely. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more mixing and mastering tutorials and reviews. This is the Crates Motel. My name's Conan. Until next time.